2 days of recording in Vietnamese. I am recording in English today. And I was just talking to a lovely girl this morning who I met recently, who is also an entrepreneur. And she brought up an interesting question. She asked me, should she have a co-founder for her business? I understand why most people would want to have a co-founder because it makes you feel less alone going into the difficult, challenging, and unknown nature of doing a business, starting a business. So it always feels nicer to have someone to push through with you, to share the burden with you, and also to share the responsibilities. And if a failure is borne by not just you, then it feels like, it feels less painful. And if you gain success, then the joy is multiplied. So having a co-founder is a very natural desire that most entrepreneurs would have. However, I have to stress this, but almost all co-founding relationships break up down the line, and that is a reality. There are many reasons why co-founders break up. Differences in vision, different levels of commitment, different agenda. It's easy to have the same vision when you are about to start a business together. It's harder to align and maintain that same vision and purpose when you are running the business together. So I think in order to save yourself a painful or rather awkward breakup with your co-founder in future, before you decide whether you should have a co-founder or not, you should ask yourself the following questions. Okay, so the first question should be, what do I bring to the table? What do I contribute to my business in terms of skill? If there are some parts of the business that I am unable to contribute in, then is it doable if I just hire people to do it for me, or do I need a partner to do it? So there are many interesting partnerships. For example, if I am an owner to start a restaurant and I do not know how to cook, then yes, I do not have the skill to start a restaurant because I cannot set up and run my own kitchen. However, I can hire a chef, which is what I did in my first cafe restaurant business. I hired a chef, and the chef does not need to be your co-founder or a shareholder of your business. He can be an employee of your business, but for a stronger level of commitment, you can encourage him to become a minority shareholder or to be promised some equity in the business in future if he commits for a certain amount of time. So yeah, just make clear in your head, what do you need for your business that you can't bring to the table? And if the area where you lack is not easy to get people to do for you as an employee, then you would need to bring in someone as a partner to support you in it. And I think most of the time we underestimate our ability, and we tend to think that we can't do this, we can't do that. When I started my business, I thought that I can't manage my own books or manage my own paperwork, so I thought of getting in a partner just to handle the finances in the business. But actually most of those things you can hire people to do it for you, or if you cannot afford to hire full-time employees to do that, you can outsource to many services in those areas to do it for you as a fee. So explore your options carefully and understand what you need. Be really self-aware and honest with yourself to come clear whether you need a co-founder to do this with you or not. Second would be, are you comfortable with sharing power? Do you want to be the one that always has the final say? Do you want to be the number one, or do you want to be the number two man in the business? So there are many people who are more comfortable running a business if they always have a number two with them, and that number two could be your co-founder. But then there are also people who choose a co-founder that is almost the same level as them or even higher. For example, you're the CEO and your co-founder is the chairman, then he is a higher authority than you. So I think you need to be really clear about the delegation of authority, what you want to do and what authority you want to have over the business, over what aspects of your business, over operations, staff management. What do you want to have ultimate say in? And that is where you should protect your authority and define your level of authority. If you decide to get a co-founder in, there should be very, very clear delegation of authority so that you don't step on each other's toes. And if you don't want to share the space, if you don't want to share power, then don't get a co-founder. Just be your own boss, be everybody's boss, and hire people to do everything you need. And that would solve most of your headaches, instead of having to, discuss with your co-founder, get his approval, get his buy-in, and then jointly come out with a decision. It takes more time. And the next thing would be, what is your level of commitment towards your business? If you cannot commit 100% of your time to your business, then you will need a co-founder who would be able to commit at least the same, if not more time than you into your business. A business cannot thrive if you are not putting in 150% of time into leading it, managing it, running it. So if for some reason you are only there 50% of the time because A, you are a mother, you cannot handle the full-time workload of an entrepreneur, or B, you have a full-time job somewhere else, you still want to start your business but you cannot afford to lose your job, then I would recommend you to find a co-founder to take the load with you, so that there's always someone there looking at the business, managing the business when you are not around. It's better to find a co-founder that you can really trust and who has the same drive as you to get the business started. So don't rely on your employees to start the business for you. You have to do it, and if you can't do it, you need help. You need to get a co-founder. And next point is the most important point. It's regarding ownership. So what kind of ownership are you willing to work with? Are you someone who wants to own 100% of your business? Well, that's kind of rare these days, because most of the time people do not have enough capital to start your business, so they will end up owning only part of their own business. So if that's the case, do you feel okay with owning 60% or 50% or even less. I started my business only owning 25%, and I regret it to this day that I did not fight for a higher ownership. So you have to get it really clear in your head from the beginning. How much do you want to own your business? And to answer this question, you need to know how much you're going to commit into this business in terms of money and your own sweat, your own effort, and in your special skill. What do you do that without you the business cannot function? So if you have those three things really clear in your head, then you can, define an amount that you're comfortable with in terms of ownership. And once you have that ownership number in your mind, when you talk to a potential co-founder, you will need to agree on that before deciding to work together. So there's no point in getting a co-founder and then finally he doesn't agree with your ownership proposal. He wants more than what you can give him. Then it doesn't work that way. So only go into the discussion with a co-founder when both are aware and agreeable with your desired level of ownership. And it has to make sense. You cannot say you're not going to do 100% of the work, but you still want 100% of the ownership. That won't work. So it has to be fair, but most of all, it has to be fair for you. So think about that really hard. And don't just think that you need a co-founder because you don't have enough capital. Recruiting partner for money is a very dangerous thing because there are a lot of people out there who are willing to throw money into your business, but they are also the first to go when they need money or when they feel that you're taking too much time to break even. So people who are only investing in you because of money should not be the ones you go to as your co-founder, because they will not add much value to your business and they will only think about their exit plan. Your co-founder has to be someone who is willing to go with you to the end. To the end here meaning that either, until the business takes off and becomes something else, it gets acquired, or until it gets dissolved and you close down the business. You would want your co-founder to be with you to the end. So if it's just a money matter, if you need capital, you can recruit, you can get investors, but they don't need to be your co-founders. And should you choose your friend or boyfriend or girlfriend as your co-founder? This is a very tricky question, and I think I've seen more relationships broken up because of business partnerships than I can say that it actually works. However, I believe that if you have very clearly defined roles for each other, and if you have the same vision, and if you agree on all the points that I mentioned before this, then it is safe to go into a partnership with a friend or a romantic partner or your husband and wife. Other than that, please don't go into a partnership with a friend, with your family, just because you think you can trust them, just because you think they are close to you, because there are so many things that will happen along the line doing your business that will cause friction, conflict, and if you don't have that principle that you agreed on from the early beginning to go back to and remind each other on, then it gets very, very hard to manage, and most of the time it makes the relationship really awkward. So I didn't do this in the past, but I would highly recommend all founders to do this at the beginning of any co-founder partnership, to just have a basic agreement agreed on and signed on paper, sign on it who will do what, level of commitment, ownership, and responsibilities, who has the final say, and the scope of work for each party. And then you have it signed off, and then that will be the document that is your point of reference whenever something, whenever a conflict should come up. Okay, so that's the topic for today. I hope that answers your question. If you have any more questions regarding this, you can write to me wherever you see me. Have a good day, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.